Joining us now is the Michigan Governor, Gretchen Whitmer. Governor, thank you so much for being here tonight. And congratulations on your resounding win.
Thank you. So good to be with you.
I got to ask you, because it's the thing that just happened, and one wonders about its effects on American politics. Donald Trump just announced he's running again in 2024. And in many ways, one could look at the race that you had against Tudor Dixon as a resounding indication that Trumpism doesn't work for the people of Michigan. What do you make of Trump's announcement tonight? What of that? What are the implications of that?
Well, I can just tell you this, he carried the state of Michigan when he first ran for president, and we had an overwhelming victory just this last week. We did something that's only been done 4 times in the last 130 years, and we swept everything. I ran with a larger margin than just 4 years ago, and we flipped both chambers of our legislature. And I think really it is about electing leaders who are focused on solving problems, not creating them, and certainly not waging culture wars. We know that people expect their leaders to deliver, and whether it is better roads, fixing the damn roads, or it is improving outcomes for our kids in our public schools, or just ensuring they've got clean drinking water, or basic reproductive rights. And that's really what was front and center here. And I think that's what contributed to this overwhelming result. People want problem solvers, not culture warriors.
Well, they also want, at least it seems, a governor who, is ready to go on the offense for matters that voters care about. I think for people who don't know, even before we got that draft opinion of the Dobbs decision, you were preemptively really concerned about women's reproductive freedoms in the state of Michigan, and you sued to challenge the constitutionality of this 1931 zombie law, which was effectively an abortion ban that would kick into place should Roe fall. You were prescient, and you were on the offense, which is not, I feel like we constantly talk about how Democrats are always playing defense, trying to explain how they're not what Republicans paint them to be. You've gone on offense, and I wonder if there's a lesson to learn in that. I talked to Governor Gavin Newsom of California. He says the same thing. He said Democrats need to go on offense. They need to put Republicans in the corner. So how do you do that, and how do you think about that sort of offense-defense dynamic?
Well, I think it's fighting for the people. I think it's showing up and using every tool at your disposal to live your values and deliver for the people that you serve. When Justice Ginsburg passed and we saw Amy Coney Barrett on the horizon, we got serious about examining what tools could I use to preserve a woman's right to make her own decisions around her body. In Michigan, we were poised to go from being a proud pro-choice state to a state that would go back 91 years, making it a felony, no exceptions. And so I used every tool in my toolbox. And because of that, it empowered this initiative to amend our Constitution, which was critical in this election that just happened a week ago. And now in Michigan, we have enshrined these rights into our state constitution. So this shows, I think, if we are eager to jump into the fray and unapologetic about living our values and focused on solving problems, that is how we create a path that others can find themselves on. And I think this was really important in this election. It was not having gerrymandered districts. It was putting choice before the voters. And it was ensuring that we had a vision where there's an opportunity for every person. And that's really what people should demand of their leaders.
I got to ask you about the gerrymandering thing, because that seems crucial to how Democrats have actually won adequate representation in the state. You look at neighboring Wisconsin, where the Republicans have gerrymandered those maps to just a breathtaking degree, and it really feels like an anti-democratic force. Should all Democrats effectively embrace independent commissions to draw congressional district lines at this point? Is that what needs to happen? I mean, I know in the past, Democrats have done their own share of gerrymandering, but the sort of modern era of gerrymandering, which is effectively an anti-democratic force, that is under the aegis of Republican legislatures. Do Democrats owe the American people independent redistricting commissions across this country?
I think the American people should insist on it. One of the things that I was hopeful would happen in Congress was, voting rights protections. We went to our Constitution in Michigan a number of years ago in 2018, made it easier for people to vote, took gerrymandering away from the legislature and created this commission. And now you see the result of that. When there are fairly drawn districts, you get a legislature that is much more reflective of the people they're supposed to be serving. It should be the people choosing their legislators, not legislators choosing their constituents. And unfortunately, we see gerrymandering across the country. We in Michigan have made huge steps forward. We've also enshrined additional voting rights. And now that I've got a great legislature, I anticipate we'll be able to do even more on that front. But certainly that was one way that the people took back the power, and it was a citizens group that came together. And certainly I'm hopeful other states, if these are tools they have, will emulate it, because this is how we protect our democracy.
I just want to ask you one last question about choice. The state constitutional amendment to protect a woman's right to choose, that passed in this last election. The 1931 zombie law is still, I believe, it's still on the books. And you've said you want to get rid of that. Even though it's no longer operative, I think a lot of American women would like to see these zombie laws torn up, and men would like to see these laws torn up and burned, thrown away in the dustbin of history. When do you think you can take care of that, erasing it from the books, as it were?
I think as soon as I get sworn in for my second term and my new legislature comes in, not only will we wipe that off the books, but probably a lot of other zombie laws that are sitting there latent that could pose a threat, depending on what the Supreme Court continues to do in terms of eroding our rights. And so we are scouring the laws. We will be cleaning it up. Things that predecessors probably should have done, we will take care of it.
Get rid of zombie laws. That is a platform you can win on. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, thank you so much for your time, and congratulations again.
Thank you, Alex.